Hello guys, welcome back to SPG News, the show where we talk about all the latest stories and gossip in the guitar world. In today's episode, we take a look at the new Fender master-built John Frusciante 62 Stratocaster, Fender's first ever 7-string guitar, and the story of Nuno Bettencourt's N4 guitar that met a grisly end. So strap yourselves in and let's get into the news. Hey guys, welcome back to Squealing Pig Guitars, the home of luxury string machines here in Nottingham, England. Today we're doing another episode of SPG News. This is the third episode of this series and I hope you guys are enjoying this, so let us know in the comment section below if you are. And before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below to see more content like this. But let's get into story one. So guys, I'm going to be screen recording my laptop as I go through this story, but basically this is the Fender custom shop website, and basically they've released a master built limited edition replication of John Frusciante's famous 62 three-tone sunburst Stratocaster. Here's a quote from John Frusciante: "I've had many other Strats and never found one better than that." This is arguably one of his most kind of iconic guitars that he's used alongside like his White Falcon and his red Stratocaster. He plays this on stage all the time with the Red Hot Chili Peppers and obviously has written a lot of songs on it. After joining the Red Hot Chili Peppers in 1988 at the age of 18, John Frusciante was quickly embraced by fans thanks to his unique blend of intricate, funky, soulful guitar playing and unmistakable tone. Over the next 3 years, Frusciante's 62 Sunburst Stratocaster became his go-to guitar. For this limited run, the Fender Custom Shop's senior master builder, Paul Waller, painstakingly replicated this cherished guitar. From the faded and beautiful aged lacquer finish down to the heavily worn body contours. All the dings, dents and scars that cover this infamous Strat give players the feeling of holding a true piece of rock and roll history in the palms of their hands. The highly resonant select two-piece older body, early 60s C-profile riff saw maple neck, and a slab rosewood fingerboard are perfect examples of prized golden era Stratocaster appointments. Other premium features include 7.25-inch radius, which is a custom radius to the vintage spec. So there's all the specs of this guitar, just to give you an idea. And obviously, we all know that Fender Custom Shop release 62 Strats all the time. You could easily buy a heavy relic, three-tone sunburst with a slab board, and it's basically the same guitar. So here's another example. It's not exactly, obviously, a three-tone sunburst Stratocaster. I'm actually not a big fan of this finish at all, but this is a 62 heavy relic. It's a kind of like a green color over a three-tone burst. Got a very dark rosewood fingerboard. It's got that kind of tint over the neck. This is a Dale Wilson, so he kind of makes it look a little bit like a smoky guitar. The neck always has a little bit more of a brown hue rather than a yellow hue. But you can see here, the Guitar Hero charging £10,999 for a master-built guitar, 62 heavy relic. So basically a very similar guitar to what Fender are releasing now. There was rumours circulating about this guitar release when Frusciante was spotted with the Red Hot Chili Peppers playing a replication or a replica of his original 62 Stratocaster. So the big question is, how much is this guitar going to cost? It's priced in at $20,000 US, and that seems to be kind of the going rate for a replication of an artist's signature model. If you think about our previous episode, we were talking about the Jimmy Page SJ200, which again was priced at £20,000. So I'm going to look through this Guitar World article now and go through a few more specs and get a little bit more of an idea of what Fender are actually selling. That expense is reflected in the level of detail that's been applied to this replica. As Fender stresses, it spared no expense in recreating every detail of source material, from the dings and dents on the headstock and neck to the heavy aging of the sunburst finish. So they actually had the original 62 Stratocaster as they were replicating this instrument. I love to hear that. I think it's adding more value to the instrument that they're releasing. All in all, it's undeniably the closest thing you're going to get to experiencing the real Stratocaster, which Frusciante bought way back in the late 1990s when he rejoined the band for Californication era. What I do really like about these Fender releases is that they always nail it. Like, the guitar looks very similar to the one that John Frusciante plays, including the wear marks. It makes me think back to the EVH Frankenstein that they did. That guitar was a really good recreation, and yet at the time, obviously, it was a lot of money, and it still is a lot of money today. If it was released today, it would probably have been worth about 20 grand. But Fender always do a great job at replicating these guitars, and they don't do it as much as maybe Gibson do, which makes me think this is a little bit more of an authentic recreation. It's a product that some people may have been looking for, a recreation of their favourite artist, Strat. Obviously, John Frusciante has a massive influence over the funk, blues, rock, kind of pop category of guitar. He's loved by many. So with a lot of these models, Fender tend to release a custom shop and then they'll release like a Mexican variant, which is obviously a lot cheaper, but will have kind of the templated relic in like the Road one, but obviously at a far, lower price, probably between the 1 to 2K mark. We saw that on the Mike McCready signature. Obviously, they laid out the red carpet for the custom shop version, very, very expensive, but then they released the Mexican version later. We had the same with the George Harrison Stratocaster that they released. Again, really high price tag, and then they made a kind of a cheaper option. So I think it's a great idea. I think a limited production for the collectors who want the most, highest end guitar that's going to feel just like the vintage guitar, and then you can release a little bit more of a kind of mass-produced one for people who are players or just fans of John Frusciante that want a little piece of his tone. So I actually think this is a great, replication. I've always thought why they didn't do this earlier on. I love John Frusciante, and I think the 62 Stratocaster is kind of his most iconic look. Other than that, probably the White Falcon. I kind of wish Gretsch would recreate his White Falcon, because honestly, that is my dream guitar, and I hope one day they do that. But I think it's a really good idea from Fender. So guys, what do you think of this John Frusciante release? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think it's overpriced, or do you think it's worthwhile? Let me know in the comment section below. So guitar number 2 now, talking about Fender's first ever 7-string guitar. I have to say I was very shocked. My guitar student, Nate, actually sent me this post, and I didn't even realize because I didn't see it on my social media. But yeah, Fender have released their first ever 7-string. So let's have a look at the Guitar World article now and see what they're doing. Chris Garza of Suicide Silence has just received the first ever hardtail 7-string Fender Strat. It's taken almost 7 years to make, and he has big plans for the design. Official Fender 7-string electric guitars may become a reality in the not too distant future, after the firm's first ever 7-string Stratocaster recently broke cover. On a podcast, Spacey, Chris Garza showed off his new custom-built 7-string Fender. After recently receiving his long-awaited custom shop creation, Garza wasted no time in playing it live almost immediately. As Garza explains, the guitar features a mahogany body, maple neck, and an ebony fingerboard, as well as 24 jumbo frets, a 26.5-inch scale length, and bare-knuckle aftermath humbuckers. It also flaunts a sole volume knob, some unique body contouring, and a string-through body hardtail bridge. So it was definitely a metal-looking guitar. Almost looks a little bit like Jim Root's original Stratocaster that he released with the ebony fingerboard, no inlays, very simplistic Fender design. So Fender have never actually released a 7-string guitar, so this is the first one we've seen. They've toyed with the idea with the Squire series. Examples include the near impossible to find Squire Stratocaster from 2000, which arrived in both hardtail and tremolo configurations, and the more aggressive Squire Stagemaster 7, which came with Floyd Rose. So let me know in the comment section below, guys, what do you think about the Fender 7-string? Would you like to see one, or are you not bothered? Let me know in the comment section below. And on to our final story for today, we're talking about Nuno Bettencourt's N4 guitar that met a grisly end. So I saw this, it was actually quite an interesting story on Guitar World. Somebody in a trailer park was selling the body, at least it wasn't a real body. Nuno Bettencourt explains how his custom Washburn N4 was once stolen from a storage locker and met a grisly end.
Yeah, no, that's actually, I found that guitar was stolen from a storage unit. Paducah, and we found the body. Somebody in a trailer park was selling the body. So we got the body, we're gonna throw another neck on it.
So basically the story goes, one of the original runs of Nuno Bettencourt's N4 signature was a Paducah made one. And basically Paducah is a very interesting wood. It has a very signature look. It's a very cherry reddish look. But on Nuno Bettencourt's original one, there was actually 2 dark stripes that outlined the pickup. So it made it very identifiable. So this guitar got stolen and didn't get recovered. But one day, one of Nuno Bettencourt's friends in the Valley in LA was A-Bing the body that he had found on Craigslist with the magazine that had Nuno's original guitar in. And he noticed that the 2 dark stripes were outlining the pickup. So he called Nuno, and basically Nuno got the guitar back. So although it was stolen, he only got the body back. He obviously didn't get the neck back, but it doesn't finish there. He says that over the years he's actually had quite a few guitars stolen from him, including his NA double neck Washburn, which was stolen right from his stage in an arena gig. So it's a bit of a shame to hear about this. Obviously we hear this all the time about musicians and guitar players that have their gear stolen. But I thought that was quite an interesting story that someone had like split up the guitar, that they had taken the body off and I assume they did that so they didn't have the serial number on the guitar, but either way, it's quite a funny story. But let me know in the comment section below, guys. Let me know if you've played any N4 Washburns. I personally haven't. It's a guitar that I would love to review at some point. But yeah, I've never had the pleasure of playing one. But that brings our SPG news episode to an end. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you'd like me to do another one of these videos, make sure to leave a like rating so I know. And whilst you're down there, make sure to hit the subscribe button down there and hit the bell icon to be notified when we make a new video. But thank you so much for watching Squealing Pig Guitars, and I'll see you tomorrow for another episode. But until then, keep rocking, guys. I'll see you soon.